Hey, one more thing before you go. Good morning. It's Sunday, which means we have another way after show for you. In this Over the Teacup, our conversation is about episode 203. It's that thing about how a reluctant medium embraced talking to dead people, which aired August 3rd, 2022. Diane and I are going to talk about some revelations that she and I both found amazing in regard to how she got started as a medium and talking to dead people. The first time she saw one, the first time that she really saw more than one is pretty interesting. And I'm your host, Michael Herst. I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Over the Teacup Sunday. Hey, welcome back. That was a quick second. In this episode 203, we learned that talking to dead people isn't a joyride. It's not a theme park pass to chat with Elvis Presley, which that would be great, whenever you want, or a ticket to discover the long lost secrets of Atlantis. Nor is it a convenient way to find your lost car keys, which would also be very convenient. It's an opportunity to get closure when you've lost a loved one and didn't get to say what you wanted to say. And we're also going to learn about how Beau Maxwell, that's the psychic we're talking about, how she became a medium, and how you too can develop those same skills that are stored deep inside of you. So, are you excited about this Over the Teacup Sunday, as I
Yes,
am?
it was a great episode. It was really interesting.
Yeah, and we've said this before, but you and I, we watch a lot of shows. We're very interested in the paranormal. We're very interested in the supernatural, like most of us. I'm sure that you all that are listening and watching this, you are interested in the same thing because you wouldn't be watching this or seeking answers, right? And I talked to a lot of different ones. She was pretty on the money, I think.
Yeah, she she's very relatable. I think that's what I found interesting. She's very normal and down to earth, and
Uh-huh.
but yet and answered every question with a lot of description, and she was very interesting.
Yeah, I think that she presents a unique approach to somebody that grew up very religious in a very religious environment, which sometimes prohibits the uh, the growth of these gifts that she's got. I can tell you that growing up as a Catholic, they don't encourage that at all, kind of a
Yeah,
situation. And so, yeah, I think the episode kind of showcases that in spite of that, she was able to develop her skills into something really good. So, let's tell
yeah.
everybody a little bit about the show itself. Isabeau Beau Maxwell is one of the leading spiritual coaches in intuitive development today. Isabeau, we call her Beau, brings deep channel knowledge and personal understanding to the field of spirituality. She has helped people connect to their authentic natural intuitive abilities for over 15 years. She's the founder of the award winning intuitive development course called the SAGE Method. She kind of helps you get involved in this and help you develop your skills. She's the author of the best-selling book Cracking Open Adventures of the Reluctant Medium and the creator of the popular online community The Sage Circle. She's internationally recognized medium, touching the lives of people across the world. In fact, the title of our show, as you can see there, is How a Reluctant Medium Was Able to kind of understand how to talk to the dead people, which is like amazing, amazing,
Very cool.
amazing. So you listened to it, and you kind of took some notes, and there's some things that you liked about it as well as myself. I mean, I enjoyed the conversation within it myself. We had a really good time. It was one of the better conversations I've had with some of my guests.
Yeah.
She's very lighthearted, and some things that you won't know in there is that her and her husband are they travel the country actually, uh, so they don't necessarily have a physical home address. Um, they're nomads.
Yeah. I didn't know that. You guys didn't talk about that in the episode, so that's interesting.
Yeah, they pull a trailer, and the show is done in the back. Her show, which she has a YouTube channel and a podcast, she does
Mhm.
in the back of this trailer that they pull with them.
Huh. Interesting.
Pretty
Maybe
slick.
we should do that.
We should do that.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I guess
Arizona. We got to get out of Arizona in the summer pretty soon. I
we
can't
do.
anymore. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode. Uh, I thought the way it started for her and that she saw her grandmother um, was really interesting, and I could really relate because the first, I guess, paranormal experience you would say was my great grandmother appearing to me when I was, I don't know, under 10, probably 8, 7, 8. It was right after she passed. So
So you
anyway,
guys have something in common.
yeah. And so when she was talking about it, it brought me right back to that moment when I saw my great grandmother, and she did the same thing that Beau describes her grandmother doing. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I liked. I think it was very unique and nice the fact that her first introduction to the
Mhm.
paranormal from this perspective or the supernatural um, was a family member who, and
And
you'll hear it in the episode, but her
she was close,
grandmother.
and one she was very close to.
Yes, and her grandmother kind of winks at her like, "Hey, yeah, I knew this, and you didn't
Yeah.
know it until now, and I'm going to introduce you to it." So I got a little clip. Let's play that clip.
My first experience came out of the blue. It came very sharply. It wasn't invited. It was something that happened and caused a bit of fear in me. My grandmother passed away, and I wasn't near her. I was a couple thousand miles away from her, as a matter of fact. And we were in two different states. I'm in New Hampshire. She was across the country. She passed away. I was really grateful to be able to be on the phone with the family who was in the hospice room with her at the time, even though I couldn't financially get there. And she passed about an hour after that. I remember my husband took the kids to go get chocolate. He was a very good guy. He was like, I'm going to go get you some chocolate. I'm going to anything you need. And I was really devastated. My grandmother was, in essence, a mom to me. And I was standing in my living room thinking to myself, okay, I can either completely fall apart and start that grieving process, or I can get on the computer and book a flight because now there's going to be a funeral that I want to attend. And I'm standing there trying to decide which one to do. And my grandmother showed up in my living room. And I was frightened. There's really no other way to say and not necessarily in a negative way. It was just not part of my reality. And here's this little 5 foot tall, spunky grandmother of mine smiling at me. She was about 70% solid. So it was definitely not
Well,
out of the corner of your eye, or maybe did I see it? It was, oh my goodness, you're right there. And she turned, I remember she was standing sideways, which was interesting, but she turned, smiled, winked at me, and then left.
so what from that
So
perspective,
so close to what I experienced with mine. It almost to a T. It was
almost to the
crazy.
T.
Yeah.
Funny thing about grandmothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now there was another unique thing that happened to her in regard to that whole situation too. That I didn't include that in the clip, but there's a kind of a surprise within
Yeah.
that, and I don't think we'll give anything too much away. Um, but you want,
Let's say that the next morning it was confirmed that she was not crazy and that she saw what she saw.
yeah, it was validated by her husband and
Yeah.
some of the other family members, which I thought was pretty slick in regard to everything. I mean, it just uh, again, she's a very nice, personable individual. Number one, she grew up in such a religious environment. Number two, that her coming out now and making a career out of this, it's I think makes her a better outlet, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or an inlet for the spirits to come talk to her. I guess call it either one. Kind of opens the door, and
Um,
you'll find that her grandmother continued to help her for a little while, so she could kind of get her feet on the ground and really. And
yeah.
you'll learn that journey in the episode. You'll kind of learn a little bit more of how her grandmother continued to help her along. So she was thrown into the fire, but her grandmother kind of held her hand a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and and talking about how she was growing up, she also touches on something I think we can all relate to. I don't know one person in my life that can't relate to the fact that we are a lot of us are told or shown or um, convinced as growing up that what really really matters is how much others' opinions um, that how much others opinions matter. If I could get the words out, it would really be helpful.
I
Oh
are
my.
I do speak English. I are smart.
Okay, so you're gonna cut that out, right? Okay, so how important it is to us that others opinions matter, and it's crazy, it's stupid, and I think most of us are, that's just a thing. I don't know if it's a societal thing. I don't know. It just seems like most of us grow up that way, and you finally, hopefully I've just now reached the age that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter, I don't care, like, but I used to care so much, and she talks about that's what her
Yep.
struggle was. The first 2 years of it was just she cared so much what other people would think of her that she almost didn't do it.
Yeah. It was society. I think society does that to us. It's a societal, cultural aspect. We're supposed to worry about what other people think of us, and instead of
Stop.
thinking ourselves first, and then what other people think of us.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it.
Stop it. Stop
Dumb.
it. Do it now.
Dumb.
As they used to say in the police department, do it now. What else did you like about it? I mean, there were some other things that you kind of pointed out that we talked about prior to starting this.
Yeah, I took way too many notes than we have time for. So let me just try. Just let me. I'm old. I have old eyes.
Put
Okay.
your helpers on.
Anybody thinks I and I don't care.
They are Sofia Vergara
Are
helpers.
Sophia?
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, they are. No, they
Oh,
are.
they
These are
are.
Sophia Vergara's.
So, Sophia, if you're watching, look how good these look on my wife. You can reach out and tell us if you want.
um, she's so funny. Anyway, okay, so I think it was interesting to me. Well, I don't want to give anything away, but she does talk in the episode about how we can communicate with our loved ones who have passed over, and it's actually pretty easy. I have not tried it yet. I'm working myself into that, but um, it. She says it's easier than you would think. So I want everybody to pay attention to that in the episode because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, she helps us to understand. Um, Obviously, she's got a method, the Sage method, which
Yeah.
is a course, a methodology that you can get involved in that helps you to kind of really get deeply involved. But she gave us some tips and some exercises and some methodology of our own that we could start opening the door ourselves, and not to be afraid of it. Like you
Yeah.
said earlier, you can't, and you're a little hesitant, like most people would be. Do I want to talk to the dead people? Do I want to talk to my dead relatives? Do I want to hear what they have to say?
I think why I haven't tried it yet is I want to make sure that if when I'm going to say when this works, that I'm prepared with the right questions of what I want to know about. You know,
Well,
I don't want to
and that makes
waste
sense.
time.
Yeah, because in reality, I mean, it's even Beau when she's talking about her journey. As we talk about her journey, I'll give you another clip here in a second in regard to her journey because it is startling. And even after she got comfortable with her grandmother, some other incidents happened, like this one, which opened her eyes a little bit more and actually startled her. And I'm going to play that real quick.
I was in a grocery store. This was probably months after I opened. I was in a grocery store and I looked down the aisle and there was three people. And then I turned, I was selecting some food off the shelf and I looked down the aisle again and there was like six.
Oh,
And three of them were transparent. And that was the first time I had ever seen anyone other than her or experienced connecting with anyone other than her. And I ran out of the store. I ran out of the store. I'm sure I made quite the fool of myself, but I did. I ran out of the store, got in my car, shut the door, and my grandmother showed up in the passenger seat. And I turned to her. I said, "Did you see that?" Because I was kind of panicked.
I mean, can you imagine being in the grocery store and looking down the end of the aisle?
Well, and when she said that, I thought there's been many times where I'm all alone in the aisle and I'm doing the food thing, and then I turn and there's like 10 people there all of a sudden, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't remember any of them being transparent, but I thought, maybe I need to pay more attention to this when this
It,
happens.
it reminds me of one of my favorite, and I'm going to say it's one of my favorite movies, and of course I can't remember the name of it,
Of course you.
with Ricky Gervais,
Oh,
where
of
where
course.
yeah, he dies, and unexpectedly he dies, and then they bring him back to life. It was a hospital mistake, and then all of a sudden, he has like mounds of he can see dead people all over the place, and they
And
realize that he can
they
see
all,
them,
yeah.
and then they conglomerate all over him, like everywhere he goes, they're following him. Hey, 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 could you do this? Hey, could you tell this? Hey, could you do this? Hey, could you do this?
Yeah.
It's almost like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, where she's up there singing my memory. It must be my what do you call it? The entrance into my seventh generation here on Earth. I'm fading a little bit here, where she kept singing the song over and over and over again till Patrick Swayze finally gave in.
Oh, I forgot about that part. I haven't
Yeah,
seen that movie in so long. Yeah.
that was pretty
But
funny actually.
that's a good movie too, if you
It
haven't
is,
seen it.
but
Can't imagine you.
The Ricky Gervais one was really. I mean, God, I wish I could remember the name of the movie.
Well,
Oh well,
you know, that's that's life.
that's life.
Maybe that's I don't
Well, we got a few more minutes here. Was there anything else that really stuck out to you in regard to that? I mean, I know that, and I think in the clip she had went back out to her car, and her grandmother was sitting in the car waiting for her.
know. Which is so cool. I mean, well, you mentioned before that her grandmother kind of stuck by her and helped her as she was developing this whole um, talent. I know talent's not the word, but um,
Gift,
gift. Thank you. Um, so she stuck by her, but I thought it was so cool where so I go out to the car and I said, "Did you see that?" Like her grandma's just, alive and sitting there. I thought,
like laughing. It was pretty
yeah.
funny.
Um, I thought it was really interesting too that later on she talks about how she talks about the in between, which is interesting. That was a show that we watched too that we liked that they canceled, and stupid them for canceling it, called the in between. It was
There was
really
a
cool, but
lot of people that liked that. They shouldn't have canceled it.
it was a really good show. So I think they did a season. Eh, maybe
Well, and,
Benji.
and so everybody understands the in between. What they refer to as the in between, and what we refer to on the show is
Right.
there's a place between us dying here on earth and going wherever else we're going to go, whether it be heaven, hell, or wherever else we go, the
Crossing over.
afterlife.
Right.
There's a little
They don't
ca-
completely over.
you cut out.
Oh,
So say that again.
where you don't completely cross over.
You're stuck in this. Catholics would call it purgatory, but purgatory really doesn't exist because it's a choice. Sometimes they're in the in between because they have something else to accomplish. They didn't get to finish what they wanted to do.
Well,
Sometimes the in between is also what a lot of these paranormal investigators are seeing are those people that are still stuck within the in between because they still have something here on earth that's not finished.
and Beau also explains that a lot of it is fear based. That they were so afraid of dying or not knowing where they were going, that they're still just stuck in that fear.
Or it was abrupt.
Right.
The
And or
death
it
was
was
abrupt.
right. So they're confused. Um, what I thought was interesting, and I've never really heard any other mediums say this, maybe they can, but I've just never heard them. But she mentions how she can communicate not only with those who have crossed over, but those who are in the in between. And so that she can then help them, which I guess a lot of mediums do. They just never really described it that way.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting that she can do both. And that that and what was I thought was really good is that according to Beau, which I believe this, they the people who are in the in between don't even know how long they've been there. And so if they've been there for like 100 years, they don't realize it. They think it's just
Yeah, time moves differently on the other side, and
right.
then in between, it just moves differently than we see it here. It's not more of a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:15. It could be seconds to them.
Hmm.
100 years
Right.
can be just minutes.
Which is good because you don't want them feeling that for that long. Um,
Sort of like our favorite show, Ghost.
yes, yeah, she really liked that show, and so did we.
The one on CBS.
Yes, CBS.
Yeah, CBS Ghost. You got to watch it. It's a
It's an
brilliant.
old show now, but
Well, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a great
but,
show.
yeah. Um, there was a lot more. There was just so much more. Everybody, if you haven't listened to the episode, please do. It's and watch on YouTube. It's really good. She's very personable and very interesting to talk to, and um, you'll learn a lot.
What do you think they're going to learn? What would somebody take away from listening to this?
Well, I think that well, she does talk about how we can all learn how to trust our own intuition, and with a pretty easy method to do that. So that was pretty cool, and that her her explanation of past lives uh, was something I hadn't heard before. It was very interesting. I would like to ask her a question about that one of these days, but anyway, I don't want to give.
Well, she did agree to come back on the show again, and we're going to expand upon a couple of things that she did talk about, so that we're going to have like a bonus episode type thing. So maybe you can come on then and ask too. We'll try to coordinate it where you are available because you work full
And they
time.
work.
So you work. Yeah, I think that what you're going to get out of this, if you go back and listen to it on Wednesday, you're going to get out of this the opportunity to understand how you can get some closure if you need it. Like I said in the beginning, understand that there is something on the other side, and that even if you don't quite believe it 100%, if you open your eyes, your mind, and your heart, you can see what's on the other side and the possibilities of what's there. And I believe she's going to help you to understand how you can open that door a little bit so that you can develop some skills of your own to help talk to or understand what's on the other side. That's what I think. So, everybody, you need to go check out episode 203 and some of the other episodes on One More Thing before you go. We've got great episodes coming up, some along the same lines. I'm talking to another brilliant medium psychic. We're not going to make every week this way, but I like to give a diverse opportunity for people to understand from different perspectives the psychic medium world, so that they can get a valued option if they're seeking that guidance from some of those. So I've got another individual that I had a fantastic conversation with her as well, Scarlett. That'll be coming up here in the next week or two. And we've got another brilliant episode coming up on this next Wednesday with regard to a person that helps people through human trafficking incidents and her journey to getting there and creating an environment for kids, adults, men, women, children, boys, girls, whoever is caught up in this, give them the means to get out of it and help them move their life forward in a very positive way. So we've got a lot of good things coming up on the show, the regular One With Them Before You Go. So please stay tuned. If you like this one, you like the last one, you like the next one, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to take your comments. If you want to come on and talk about one of the shows, send me an email, Michael at onemorethingbefore-you-go.com, onemorethingbefore-you-go.com. It's all one word, Michael's Michael. Please reach out to me. I will answer your email. I do not have an assistant. I do not have somebody that screens them. I will answer you directly. And who knows? You can come on the show.
Yep, that'd be fun.
So, Diane, thank you for having a cup of tea with me this morning, as every morning that we do. But thank you in particular for taking the time on a Sunday for us to talk to everybody. I really appreciate this time with you as well. So,
Well,
and for you out there, one more thing before you go. Have a great day. Have a great week. And thank you for listening.
bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. One More Thing Before You Go, established 2010. All rights reserved.